Good evening. It's Friday, the 27th of November 2020. Diane Hands bringing you Book for the Day, Hearts on the Rise, Connections Through Corona. And I've been reading to you an article written by Noha, Nasser, Communal Cities of Tomorrow, 2025 Musings of a Post-Corona Urbanist. And we've been learning about how land will be owned by the commons. In this scenario, developers wanting to use the land to build on would pay an annual LVT, land value tax, to the commons. According to George, LVT is the only tax to be paid. Developers will not be taxed on the buildings they build. Therefore, they will mainly profit from selling the leasehold or collecting rent from their buildings. The leasehold and rent price of these properties will be significantly lower, as the price of the land will not be included in the property price. As the land already belongs to the commons, how does George's theory impact my vision for communal cities in 2025? Post-Corona world. The commons, a new concept for land. Building on the ideas of my first blog, The Death and Life of the Great English High Street, online migration of everyday life will lead to large areas of our cities lying vacant and in need of repurposing, from offices, universities, large supermarkets, schools, and even large retailers. All this land will be placed in the hands of the commons, along with all existing public land, and a good proportion converted into much needed affordable housing. The land value tax will apply to existing landowners who are buying or selling their land, ensuring land speculation does not continue to happen. Universal income, reducing inequality. The land value tax on use of the land will raise sufficient funds for the commons, according to George. All other taxes will be replaced by this single tax, including taxes on personal income, sales, business profits, inheritance, buildings, and any improvements to the land. The revenues from the rent, LVT, would fund basic government welfare programs such as healthcare, education, infrastructure, and social housing. Any surplus would return to citizens as a direct cash payment or universal income. A de facto guaranteed national or even global income, similar to the Alaska Permanent Fund. Oil was discovered in Alaska, and the state taxed the land for its natural resource. Cash dividends were then distributed to the state residents. In a globalised move to adopt this new economy, the shared wealth of the planet and resources will be shared amongst human beings, narrowing the margins of inequality and eradicating poverty. Truly affordable homes. All house prices will be only take into account the price of the building and not the value of the land as well. This will significantly bring down the house prices. Developers will make their profits on selling the use of the buildings, either through leasehold or rental. Communal housing models. With land taken out of the development equation, a sharp increase in more communal forms of development will arise. Cooperatives and co-housing will become very popular, where a group of residents become part of an association of members of a legal entity, which is the co-op itself. The legal entity can apply for financing to build the properties on the commons. The members pay a below market rent, which goes towards upkeep, and properties are managed by members on an unpaid basis. Members of the housing co-ops will not own equity in their homes. The properties will be owned by the legal entity, that is, the cooperative itself, rather than individual members. The cooperative is leasing the land from the commons and pays ground rent. Choose to live there. When members have the property and they leave, it reverts to the cooperative, which will then allocate the property to someone on its waiting list. This model of housing offers access to affordable rent while making benefit of the land available to a shared common wealth for the community's welfare. In closing, Henry and Ebenezer Howard had clear strategies of reforming land in such a way that would eradicate speculation. Howard, inspired by George, sought to create a garden city company that would manage the allocated land and share its resources with its tenants or leaseholders. However, garden cities fell victim to their own success as they became brands of high urban quality, impacting rising land value and use value they remained unique and exceptional in comparison to other cities across the country. In order for this vision to succeed, it would have to be the norm, not the exception. George's ideas are compelling in more ways than one. For the communal cities of tomorrow, the concept of land belonging to the commons will eliminate speculation, thus reducing house prices, and will use land value tax to achieve this. The single tax model has the potential to eliminate poverty and inequality by raising the revenue from the shared land's resources amongst inhabitants of a place, country and the world. What's more, land available to the commons, there is a greater scope for communal forms of housing to thrive. As George eloquently said, we have made and are still making enormous advance on material lines. It is necessary that we fiduciary advise on moral lines. Civilization, as it progresses, requires a higher conscience, a keener sense of justice, a warmer brotherhood, a wider, loftier, truer public spirit. Thank you. That's the end of that article written by Noha, Nasser in Hearts on the Rise, Connections Through Corona. And tomorrow I'm going to be starting a brand new story from Book of the Day. Good night and thank you for listening. Hearts on the Rise, Connections Through Corona can be found on Amazon and on a Facebook page. Thank you. Good night.